390 cubic inch big block. Are you ready to hear the power? So that's a major problem. I wonder if the exhaust is plugged. Come take a look at the exhaust. The first time anybody's ever put gas in this gas tank since at least 1992. What are the odds? Welcome back to Freeman's Garage. We are at the Canadian border location, and this is our 1967 Mercury Monterey big block 390 cubic inch two-door hardtop. This swanky full-size 1960s V8 rear-wheel drive classic car has been off the road for 34 years, since 1992. I mean, the thing's got North Dakota 1989 bicentennial plates on it. Pulling out all the stops for this. I brought parts. We're gonna see if the 390 cubic inch big block Ford V8 in this Mercury Monterey will fire up and run, and if the C6 Cruise-O-Matic automatic transmission in this car has any life left in it. If this big piece of Detroit steel will run and move under its own power, we're hitting the road in this video. Brakes, I don't know if we're even gonna look at those. We're in North Dakota, it's flat, right? We don't need brakes. Famous last words of a fool. And here's how you know this is a serious mission with this car. Not only did we drop simoleons on parts, we're also getting a little sophisticated and actually using one of these. And I'll get into why later in the video here, of why we are elevating our class to a little bit more higher of a sophistication level. It's not a very sophisticated way to explain that. Don't worry, we have zip ties if we need it for our road test, if the car makes it that far. Now, quick 30-second history on this car, and then we'll get right to work. If you are a regular Freeman's Garage viewer, then you've already seen the videos. This 67 Mercury Monterey has been featured here in Freeman's Garage in two videos that were, about 3 years ago as of today. I purchased this car from someone here in North Dakota. It was gonna be his project. Found out a baby was on the way, so he sold it for diaper money. It got shoved into the lineup here at the Freeman's Garage Canadian border location, where it became buried in several feet of snow and frozen in solid. And over the course of two videos, we were able to actually get the big block in this car to crank over and fire up in sub-zero temperatures. And I'm not talking just sub-zero temperatures for weeks on end. This thing was frozen into the ground. Now, this Mercury, of course, was built by the Ford Motor Company. So this 390 big block in here is a Ford power plant. Is that a testament to Ford's durability? Can we get a little Ford versus Chevrolet going on here? After those two snow videos, which you can watch right after you finish watching this video, this car just sat up here at this location and just kinda, I was stuck in Texas and then moving from Texas to Oklahoma, and we're finally here 3 years later to see if it will fire back up again. It might not. You never know. In the snow videos, we only had the engine running for a couple of seconds, and there was stuff missing under the hood, and we couldn't even see everything under here because it was packed full of snow. And we never even got in the car. The transmission's completely untested. We don't know what's gonna happen. I'm ready to start wrenching. We haven't looked at this car together though, not in the snow. And I actually have not even really looked at it myself. Got a little bit of damage on this quarter panel here. We're missing this piece here. These tires are shot. If this car will move under its own power here, we are going to put a brand new set of tires on it. 1989 bicentennial license plates. 9 of 92 is the last tag. I think we have the missing grill hardware. Not sure where it is. You'd have to go watch the snow videos. I'm gonna watch those too, rewatch them, see what we did with that hardware. Because I remember we had a hard time getting the hood open. This tire was able to hold some air here this morning. I think it's gonna be flat in a matter of minutes though. I pulled the car around in a circle here. It was actually sitting in a different spot, sunken into the ground a little bit. This side of the car, I'd say this is the nicest side. Two-door hardtop. We got quarter glass on the rear. I really like that. That tire won't hold a lick of air. I guess that's the rusty spot. And unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, this dent here, there's probably, water probably gets in the trunk here. Look at this back glass though, isn't that neat? I like that. And we don't know what's in the trunk. And in fact, I don't know what's in the car. So, well, I've seen a teeny little bit turning the wheel when moving the car with the tractor, but we're gonna explore all of this together. We're not even gonna open the door yet. I'm hoping there's a key in the ignition. This is a really cool car. This is really swanky. That's why we're bumping up our sophistication a little bit. You know, you had to shell out close to $3 for this. You were a really swanky mom, or you were a university professor or something, I would think, if you were driving this car. And the trunk, there could be anything in the trunk. I think we're gonna save that for a little surprise. My guess is a bowling ball bag with a bowling ball in it. That would be my guess. We got a dealership badge here. Gregory, Cavalier, North Dakota. That's really neat. We got our badge back, our Mercury badge here. Looks like somebody's, yeah, I guess we probably don't have a key for the trunk, huh? All right, let's get this hood open and get to work. It was sprinkling just a minute ago here. Oh. I already went flat. That's okay. Should have went back and watched those 2 snow videos to see what the issue was with the hood not wanting to open. Let's just see what happens. I hope this doesn't turn into a circus right away. Oh, can't get the hood open. We're done. Shut it down. It didn't go perfectly. Okay, I already know what's going on here. Oh, we're starting to get rained on, which is not a problem as long as it's not a torrential downpour. Do the old hood slap trick. There's a secondary latch. The hood's not popping up so that we can get to that. Grab this plastic funnel here. Now, anytime you're doing any prying on the corner of a hood, it's not good. I didn't mean to rhyme that time. But that's, hopefully this funnel will do the trick. I'd rather not stick a screwdriver in there. I don't know how in those snow videos, I don't know how we did not destroy this hood. There we go. Are you ready to see the beast and the work begins? Oh, these darn mice. They're everywhere. Well, I don't know if they did this to our hood insulation, but I'll just blame them. Here, I'll just get this out of the way. Let's put it in the car. Oh, door opened. Oh, can't wait for you to stick your head in here. Oh, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be a fun treasure hunt. Okay, where did we leave off 3 years ago? Trying to rack my brain here on what the situation was. Well, okay, yeah, we still have a 390. All right, this was us jumping juice to the coil so we could start the engine, which we were bypassing the ignition switch, which we don't know if there is one in the car or a key. We can look here in a second. But either way, we couldn't even get in the car. So we bypassed that. What else was going on? We're missing the coil wire from the distributor cap that goes to the coil. Okay, and there's no wire connected here on the hot side of the coil. I think we got a coil wire off of our 48 1.5 ton Chevrolet. We're missing the starter solenoid, so we definitely were bypassing that. Okay. Wait a second here. Oh, I don't remember this. Did we make this? This chunk here looks original to the car. Somebody added this to this. We're gonna fix some of this stuff up because we want this like the factory. We don't want to be hot wiring stuff on this one because this car, if it's got a good trend, it's going on the road right away. It's getting tires. Does that look like a cut or a mouse chew? Almost, it's hard to say. Maybe that just broke off. I mean, this is breaking off here too. We're gonna have a reddish pinkish wire from the factory that's wired into the ignition switch, and it's in the bundle, it's in the harness. The hot wire to the coil coming from the key though should be in this bundle of wires sitting on top of the engine here. We'll find out here in a bit if we have a 2-barrel or a 4-barrel. So where did this go? There should be a pinkish reddish wire, factory wire, coming to here. It's not this. This is starter solenoid stuff that we'll get to. Let's open the driver's door and look at the dashboard and see if we have an ignition switch, and hopefully, if there is, there's a key in it. Maybe we saw that looking through the window in the snow videos. I don't know. Oh, we do. All right, so that's one mystery solved. Many more to go. What? Oh, don't. Oh, you wanted to see? There you go. It's a factory key. Ooh. Sorry, that was cringeworthy. I won't do that again. So that's good news. Good news, boss. Good news. We're gonna be able to wire this up just the same as factory. So we need to find that factory coil wire. Let's see, we're missing vacuum advance line. Darn it, I'm gonna have to go to the parts store for that. That's gonna take forever. But we can do it. And that's gonna plug right into the carburetor. Should be on this side, I can see it. Okay, we got belts that are not cracked or glazed over, they're actually tight. We're not gonna worry about the power steering at the moment. I think we're all about done assessing and about ready to start repairing here. I've got the list growing in my head. Uh-oh. Can you guess what's inside this air cleaner? We're in North Dakota, so it's not a venomous spider or a venomous snake. It's a mouse house! Hopefully they haven't gotten anything into the carburetor. I wonder if anybody's home. Well, looks like we got a factory 2-barrel. Looks pretty clean. That's good. Hello? Anybody home? Housekeeping? Housekeeping? I don't think anybody's home. Ooh, that smells delicious. Now we just gotta find that pesky wire. Oh, we got another problem here. Another challenge. If we're gonna get this big block running and on the road. Look at that. Wow, look at that spark plug wire. It's non-existent. Okay, well, spark plug wires aren't cheap these days. Anything in the radiator? I want to check that out. It is bone dry. Well, it's not bone dry, but there's nothing in it. Okay, so I'll put this cap back on so it doesn't walk away. Two more things to check, and then we'll be able to have a game plan here. Check our crankcase oil full, not over full. Smells like decent used engine oil. And should we pull the transmission dipstick yet? Because that's gonna be a good indicator if we got a good transmission or not. Should we even look at it yet? Or should we just get the engine running first? Let's get the engine running first, and then we'll pull the trans dipstick and see if it's nothing but burntness. I've got a game plan in my head. Do you, or are you just observing me? Here's what we're gonna do. We are not even going to graze our foot over the brake pedal, because the master cylinder is probably stuck. And I don't know if you noticed, but when we had the door open, there were brake drums and rusty brake shoes in there. So it's flat here, okay? We don't even need brakes. Today, anyways. We are not going to even touch the brake pedal. We're not gonna take the cover off the master cylinder. We're just gonna get the engine running again, if it will, and we're gonna try to get it running off of the factory ignition switch and key. So we're gonna fix all this wiring. We're gonna take care of this vacuum advance. We're gonna do plug wires. We're not gonna do plugs. Well, I don't know, we'll see. We're gonna start with plug wires. Everything's so expensive these days. And we're gonna try to get it running off of its own fuel system. So we're gonna try to run off of the factory tank. We have a backup if that doesn't work. But if we get all that going, and if we like what we see on the transmission dipstick, we're not gonna touch the transmission. We're gonna put the dipstick back into its sheath, and we're gonna drop the transmission into gear and see what it does. If the car will sit here and idle and go forwards and backwards, we'll put brand new tires on it and hit the road. Okay? Does that sound like a plan? Is that gonna work? All right, let's start with fixing our wiring here. These two wires here, we'll make these like brand new. So one step at a time here. We are doing my patent pending escalation of force way of doing things here, where we are not gonna dump $25, just say $50 oil and filter into this engine before we hear it fire off again. You know, we're not gonna do that. And we're not gonna spend 4,000 hours properly and professionally soldering everything. Now, if this car becomes a daily driver, then we definitely will. Okay, and I want to do this without cutting into the factory sheathing here. on our wiring harness. Want to keep that all original and intact. We're just using what we have to work with that's already sticking out here. Can maybe strip this one a teeny bit more. So we've got this wire here repaired, and now we need to repair this, our pinkish reddish wire. One side of me does want to use this piece right here, because it's got the same end as our black wire, okay? Because this is going to go under our solenoid, which we don't have. We're going to find one in the barn here. But I also want to figure out what exactly is going on over here. Where is our missing coil wire end? Because we might want to use this on that end. Although, well, wait a second here. This is some of the stuff you got to think through when you're deciding how you're going to go about stuff such as this. Now, sometimes you could spend, here's my theory on this car. I think that, well, let's back up. So this was us doing a coil wire, hot wire thing, okay? This was not us. I'm pretty sure we found this under the hood. So what I think happened is I think a bunch of these wires, long before we had this car, got all chewed up by mice or accidentally cut or something, and then eons later somebody else got a hold of the car and they did this because they couldn't find the original wires, and then, or it was the guy I got the car from, or he did the same thing, or maybe he didn't touch anything. But I think wires were cut, chewed up, missing. Somebody couldn't find what we're looking for, and they did this. All they had was this little nub. And that could go on for years. But sometimes if you just move things, right? When I was a dishwasher for $5.15 an hour, dated myself a little bit there. The manager told me, sometimes you just got to move things to find things, or something to that effect. So maybe if you just get in here, you know, maybe they never even took the air cleaner off, these other people, and they didn't stick their hands in this mouse poop and dig around and find this. That's a reddish pinkish wire that's been cut by accident, or it's just broke because it's old and brittle, or it was chewed by mice, or a combination. There it is. That's our coil wire. That's got to go right there. Now, where's this piece again here? Whoops. No! And that's the right end that we would need. And you can see somebody, the other one must have been missing, the one that goes from the coil to the distributor, because there's a black wire here, and they made this little terminal fit over the stud on here on the negative side of the coil. So if we go from where we're chopped off right here, and we put our little nubbin on there, yeah, that's the perfect length. So I say, if we look and think about this logically, we should use this nubbin over here, this end, to go onto that post, because there's probably a solenoid somewhere on this property that we can use. And the odds of the solenoid having nuts on it, it'd be a lot quicker to find that than one teeny tiny nut to go on this coil that has to be fine thread. Am I making any sense here? So let's use this end that we have that's good. That will snap right on there. We don't need to find a little teeny tiny fine thread nut. And then on the solenoid end of things here, where we have to get this pinkish reddish wire to the solenoid, we'll just do a simple just a round electrical terminal, which there's millions of those in the barn. And yeah, that'll save us a lot of time, I would say. Let's pull this apart. That was barely even connected there. This isn't too dirty or corroded looking or anything on the end there that's already exposed, so we won't shorten it any. Now, here's the trick is going to be, we're going to do the same thing as we did over there, where we don't want to cut into this factory harness, so we just want to snip off the end here. We don't want to strip off any more than we really need. Whammo, 50-year repair. Clean that off a little bit. There we go. That's done. Ugh. Can't reach the plug wires from over there. Okay, now at the parts store, I did not even take these out of the box. Now, why do I have some of this stuff ahead of time? I just assumed we would do a tune-up, and I tried to go off of what I could remember. Haven't seen under this hood in 3 years. But with the cost of things these days, you know, with 10-cent bread and 80-cent gasoline, a guy just can't do a full tune-up on something that he's not confident with. So we're not doing $4,000 in spark plugs. Okay, mini rat, $42 for the cheap junk. The spark plugs that are in here, these old girls, in the used condition that they're in, are probably a lot better quality than what we'd get off the shelf right now anyways. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 wires here. 2 different coil wires. That was nice of them. Let's get this out of here. Well, hold on here. Let's not put the cart before the horse, as Lieutenant Columbo likes to say. I was gonna skip our pinkish red wire up here and move on for right now, because I'm not aware of any wire this size here on the farmstead. But now that I think about it, why don't we just, this is a little bit thicker wire that we found under here, let's just use this. Not cut it too short. Let's go about there. That's a little bit of extra for us. That's what you call a proper temporary repair. Good for 5 to 500,000 miles. Now spark plug wires. You know, this weather way up north here in North Dakota near the Canadian border, the clouds and the shadows and the shape shifting just keeps changing. Coming from the Ozarks, I didn't pack anything but short sleeve shirts and had to borrow a sweatshirt when I got here. And then now it's pretty pleasant. So now we're down to the short sleeves again. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. We're gonna replace these spark plug wires now, and we're gonna use a little trick to save ourselves a lot of extra work. We're not gonna just rip everything off and then, oh wait, which one goes where? You don't even need to have the firing order memorized to do this. Just replace one at a time. Why not start with the longest and then go all the way down to the shortest? Or we could do it in any order we want, as long as we do it one at a time. I like how we have all of our factory spark plug wire holders here. And boy, wonder if we're gonna have a fire when this engine's running with all the leaves and mouse junk piled down in here, but I guess we'll find out. So definitely stay tuned for that. This aftermarket stuff, cheap stuff, comes from who knows where. A lot of this stuff is very universal, so to speak. So this set of spark plug wires here is probably, you know, it's not going to be the factory length. It's going to be made to get you by with many, many different vehicles, many different applications. Snapped on, put that on our factory deal there. Run this the way that this was before. Now if this car becomes a good daily driver for us, for my daughter and I. There you go, snapped onto the distributor cap nicely. Then, you know, we will fix up all these wires all nice and neat and make it all perfect how we want it. One brand new spark plug wire installed on our 390 cubic inch big block Ford. 7 more to go. Let's knock it out and get rid of that. All right, one more plug wire, number 8. This is our one that's all chewed apart. And you know, I feel as if this these spark plug wires, the lengths were close, and then as we got closer to number 8, there's a lot of extra wire length here. Yeah, a lot. But it is what it is. There, that's what 42 simoleons get you in this day and age. We were all right over here, and over here, it just went spiraling out of control. Oop. Okay, well, I guess that one's completely snapping into 2 pieces here. I'm not gonna run very good like that. So, all right. Plug wire's done. What's our next task here? You know, let's actually try to get these long wires a little bit further away from the throttle linkage. Coil wire here from distributor cap to coil. Which one is it gonna be? Which one do we want to use? Well, what's the shortest one? Okay, we'll see how that performs for us. You know, I do actually have, I guess I did buy 6 feet of 7/64 vacuum line in a package. I don't know how this vacuum line ended up in that crate, because I don't even remember thinking about the vacuum line. I don't know if we could even see this vacuum canister or the carburetor during the snow videos. And it's the right size. That's a little long. You could jump rope with this while it's connected. So let's see, we're not gonna get all fancy on the routing of this right now, but we will leave ourselves, we'll go a little long, because if this car does become a daily driver, we want to be able to route it exactly how we would like to have it. If you cut it too short, it just, you know. Okay, so that is on there. Lucky we have it. Well, we need to fix our ground cable that we had some kind of an issue with during the snow videos. Clean up that end. Yeah, the ground is, it's kind of messed up down here, so we'll have to get that out. All right, I got some tools, doing what we can, working on the road. So we got to get this bolt out down in there. That's where that goes into, but we need to get that out so that we can clamp it tight. What is that, a 9/16 maybe? 7/16? 9/16. 5/8. 11/16. 3/4. Nobody knows. Definitely a 9/16. There we go. 9/16. 3/8 drive. That's what we need, my friend. That's what we need. And a ratchet at least twice my age, which is a good thing. With my grandfather's initials etched into it. All right, come on. Ooh, that was easy. Getting ready to put some muscle behind it. I just got to do this for about 5 minutes though. But we wouldn't have it any other way. I was just helping the socket turn with my finger while ratcheting the ratchet, and I thought we were at a point where we could just do it with our fingers, but not yet. Oh, you know what? I think it was out all the way actually for a while. We just needed to pull it out with some muscle, but that happens sometimes. So we'll clean that out. And we'll clean up the end of our battery cable, stick it in there, and squish it down so it doesn't come out. So I have a screwdriver from the 1920s. Kind of knock out a little bit of this corrosion in here. A piece of sandpaper, scuff it up a little bit. You know, try to make it look a little coppery again, you know, bring it back to its glory days. I'm starting to think, you know, why don't we do this? Instead of cutting a fresh end on this, let's just leave it as such. That'll save us some time, and it's not that bad. Well, let's see if this will, maybe I'll change my mind on that here in just a second. No, I think we'll give this a shot, because it's not bad. Just push that down a little bit. We're gonna work with that. It's not too bad. This other end's pretty bad though, but that's easier to access. So we will go with things the way they are right now. Not everything has to be perfect at the moment. It'd be nice, but it's just not gonna happen. Hopefully that holds. I need to go in the barn and search for some kind of a solenoid that we could make work with this Ford product. Mercury, made by Ford. Okay, so I found something. This is a solenoid. It's got our 2 big posts and our 2 small posts, which is what we need. This doesn't look like the solenoid that was on here, or would have been on here originally. And I don't know where this came from or what it was used for. Found it in a milk crate, but it's gonna work for us because it's got the posts we need. All we gotta do is send electronics from one side to the other. Okay, here's a 3/8 snap-on, 3/8 drive. And this snap-on socket looks like it is twice my age. Let's just take this screw out here. Oh, these holes are gonna line up. The screw's kind of stripped out. Where's that channel lock? No, maybe it was just kind of wedged in there a little bit, but this will go, yeah, this will fit right on these holes, factory holes here. All right, now it's just a simple act of putting our wires on here as if it's a factory solenoid. All right, we need the battery in here. We are moments away from seeing if this engine will run for us here. Moments away. If it does, fluids, check the transmission, hit the road. That easy. Not much left of our battery tray. You just gotta think positive, happy thoughts and throw on a couple extra bungee cords. Okay, well the battery did not hit the ground. So we have the most basic of basic wiring situation here. Now, it's not a Chevy, it's a Ford, so it's a little bit, well, not backwards, that would be Dodge / Mopar. I would just say it's a little different, okay? This is going to our starter. We're gonna put that right there. And we're gonna put that, just go into our, should we go into our dashboard? Oops. Actually, no, this is going to go to our alternator headlights. This will be going inside the car here. Should be. And let's grab some hardware here because things are flying apart. It's not rocket science, although watch, it won't work and then it will become rocket science. Let's put this wire on here. Oh, I just dropped a little tiny washer I didn't want to drop, but I guess it's gone. Oh, we have a body to frame ground down there. That's nice. When I was in the barn, I did grab some other little doodads. You'll see here in just a second. Okay, so that goes there. Okay, that's gonna go there. Snap that on. Okay, and then let me get the doodads. So now these doodads, it's just gonna be this here. Okay, so that goes on the positive. Okay, we'll put that on there, and then this will go right there. Okay, and then this, uh-oh. Well, that came apart. We'll have to fix that a little bit better. But this is our ground, so that'll be down there and on the negative side of the battery, excuse me. And then everything will work perfectly fine. And then in no time, we have fluids changed and we're driving. Well, you know what? We're getting to that point in time where it's a race against the clock. And we're really, you know, more than anything, trying to prove that this car is worth our investment, right? Worth our time. So let's see if we can just cram this thing in there tightly and make it work. And if this car survives a road trip from North Dakota to Oklahoma, then we'll really spruce it up. All I know is I don't want to take that bolt back out right now. Okay, that's jammed in there. So now we'll just tighten our nuts up on the solenoid. We'll use the key and the ignition switch inside the car, and we'll see if we get juice to the starter, and if that works, then we will put some gas down the carburetor and find out if we have power going to our ignition and if it wants to run. We also have to hope for no fire. That would not be good. Oh man, this ground cable. We're so close. Might have to just fix this thing properly. This is not... Kinda don't have time right now. Okay, well, the whole ground cable situation's not good. Let's see what happens if we turn the factory key and the factory ignition switch. Whoa! All kinds of electrical stuff did all kinds of electrical things. Turning the key, nothing. I don't know if we pulled the headlight switch. No headlights. It's got to be that ground. Ooh, you know, that's what's starting to make this video now turn into a possibility of accomplishing our goals here. Not looking so good, because this is going to eat up some time redoing this ground. It's got to be what it is, right? It's usually a ground. Check your grounds, people. Check your grounds. Okay, I'm gonna give this thing some of my time and catch you on the other side. Okay, so I got a nice clean cut end on here, and I got it as much copper inside of here as possible. Gonna crank down on this as hard as possible so that it can't undo itself. Okay, I think that'll do it. And if it doesn't, I don't know. Have to try again. And so yeah, that bolt is out again, but I got it out the second time in record time, and now I plan on getting it in record time. Hopefully that works. Record time. Just need to snug it up now. Got it all figured out. The right socket, the right length extension. Perfect. See, this other end's not the greatest either. I just don't think that's gonna work though. This needs to be a lot tighter. I think I have another terminal for that. I found 2 terminals. That one fits just right. Oh, so does this one. We used a cleaner looking one. Found the right size socket, but we don't have a 1/4" drive ratchet for that, so. There we go, 7/16. And of course we got to do this without pulling out our fixed end. Ooh, yeah, it's pretty nasty. Just clean this end up a little bit, put in a terminal on that, and then so that we can put it right on this post, just the same as that one there. Well, I could not find the proper end for this in the barn, so we got to do what we got to do with what we have. And if this car proves itself to be worthy, which I think it will be, it gets all the little special attention to details. All right, are you ready to try this again? I just pulled the headlight switch for fun. I don't know why, when we're running out of time and we have lights ahead. Oh, do we have power to our ignition and whatnot? Do we have power to our starter? Let's find out. Whoa. Okay, as soon as I turned the key on, she just started cranking. That's not right. And that is the engine cranking, is it not? It is. See, that's not all the way, but oh, now it stopped. Oh, there we go. So that's a major problem. That's what you call not gonna work. So let's disconnect the battery and let's take our 2 small wires here. Remember, we're making a random solenoid switch here, or a random solenoid work for us here. I need to find that little tiny socket again. So what we've got going on here is as soon as we turn the key on, we have power going to our starter before it's told to do anything. You know what? You know, it's my fault here with these tools. We're losing a lot of time. It's all my fault. I need to come to North Dakota a little bit more prepared next time. Starter's getting power before it's supposed to. So we're gonna switch our teeny tiny little wires around. Dropping everything here. Oh, well, okay. Well, that little tiny washer is gone. Not getting that one back. As long as I don't drop this nut, which I'm about to. Saved it. Oh. 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 These 2 terminals have different sized nuts. Of course. What was I thinking? Okay, well, judging off of how loose this one wire is here, my hopes aren't that high. Okay, nothing on fire. Nothing on fire. Okay, so the key is in the start position, and now let's turn it the rest of the way. Nothing. Which is what I thought would happen. Okay. That means our solenoid has a problem. We don't know where it came from or what its purpose is. But I just wiggled the loose one. Oh, let's try it again. Same result as I suspected. Alrighty, I took all the wires on that solenoid and I swapped them around. I have a feeling it's going to do the exact same thing, although I didn't put the ground back on the battery. Now the red wire's not hooked up. We just want to see if we have constant power to the starter with the key on. Oh, so yes, and I just turned the key off and it still had power going to it. Let me think about it for a second. Okay, so we got a couple things going on here, and it's nothing we haven't really seen before. Well, you know, I've been out here a lot longer than it may feel like to you. I say we put these wires back how we had them, and because I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Well, okay. It's a mystery solenoid, that's the thing. And I wouldn't say it's sticking because when we put power to it, it would just be spinning. I wouldn't have to wait for the key. So let's put everything back the way it was, and then we'll put some gas down the carburetor and we'll see if it'll just make some noise and we'll shut the power off to it. Okay, so that we don't have any collateral damage of any kind. And that'll prove that we got spark, which we need, right? And if that works out, then we spend way too much money for a low quality aftermarket part. Oopsie daisy. Well, a full 5-gallon gas can. Yeah, we're not gonna make a mess with this, are we? There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, get in there. Oh, can't give it enough. Make sure it gets in there. Okay, now we're gonna move all this. Are you ready to hear the power? Okay, we did put the ground on. There we go. Come on, come on. I don't think we have spark. Hear that? Just like that Ford 8N tractor video. If she had spark, she'd be doing something. She'd be trying. She didn't even give it a shot. And it ran in its last parking space. Let's go spend $35, not including tax, on a part that might not work out of the box. It's the world we live in. It's the world we live in. It's not a tidy world, but it's our world. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, you know, I did say that essentially if we have spark, then we would go invest in the new solenoid. And then we didn't have spark, then we were going to go invest in the solenoid anyways. Recollecting here about a very similar scenario with a mystery solenoid. Let's switch these two small wires around again. Either way, we're going to go get that new solenoid. All right, are you ready to experience the Dr. Thunder? Okay. So nothing happens when you switch those two around. You need to get rid of the mystery solenoid. It's late enough in the day that if we're gonna go get that solenoid, we're just gonna change the oil right now. Prep this car because if we go get the solenoid, we might not be back here before we can't see anything. And of course the oil pan I have already has oil in it. Got this jug over here I found. Don't ask, don't tell. Oh, I almost just started this without a funnel because we're used to not using a funnel. I think this is lawnmower oil, would be my guess, mixed with water. It's kind of a milkshake concoction. Now, if we start with an empty oil pan for our oil change, our chances of not overflowing the pan are the best. This is not going to work out. Oh, it is. No, we're spilling a little bit. And there goes the water. Water was on the bottom. Okay, so that's good enough. Put that there where the wind can blow it over. We'll get some air in these tires so that we can actually get underneath here a little bit. Get to the drain plug. Hopefully the car doesn't come down on top of us. Now, I know it may seem as if this video is kind of starting to unravel, but don't worry, I have the situation well in hand. We might drive this car before the sun sets if we work fast enough. I know it's going to happen. Well, it might not, but we'll find out. I think the other tire is, the passenger side front is off the bead. So we're probably not going to get any air in that. I don't remember. Do you remember? Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen. I don't believe it, but this pump is putting air in this tire, and this tire seems to be holding it. Okay, let's call that good for right now. We'll leave this hooked up and we'll see if that actually holds that air for a little while or not. The oil filter on this 1967 Mercury Monterey 390 cubic inch big block has been on this engine since at least 1992. And we're gonna see if we can get it off by hand. All right, see what happens. Oh, it's a Fram. Ugh. 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 Okay, oh, I think I ripped my neck, tore my collarbone, broke my hand, and dislocated my shoulder. I think I'll use a filter wrench. Oh, mosquito right up the schnoz. Ooh, uh-oh. That's not good. Oh, I gotta bring you under here with me. There's water. There's water in our 390 cubic inch big block Ford. There can't be much though. I mean, the dipstick didn't show it was over full or anything. It did crank over, and when it did fire up in the snow, it sounded okay. Let's push our pan under here. Otherwise, we're just gonna get soaked here. I gotta switch hands. No, I can't switch hands because you just had to be under here with me. Let's see the manifest. I think we're just gonna let the plug go into the pan. Well, maybe we don't want to do that. I don't think we're gonna overflow this pan. That's the thing though. It couldn't be that much water in here. Ah, mosquito biting my face. All right, you wanna see what happens? Okay, there you go. So oil is always on top of water. And luckily that's all that was in there. Black gold, Texas tea. I'll let that drain out and do its thing. And then we'll find that filter wrench and get the filter off. There's no way we're gonna overflow this pan. All these mosquitoes are getting bad, real bad. They ain't gonna stop us. Yeah, it's black oil, but I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's a couple of hours later. I attended a impromptu family affair. That's over. Back to the cars. I had put all our tools and stuff, kind of stashed them in here because it looked like it was really gonna rain again. And it did, good thing, but everything is back out now. So let's see what our oil looks like that came out of this crankcase, or oil and water. And then we'll see if we can't get the oil filter off. Might have to jam a giant screwdriver through it. Looks pretty normal to me. I don't think the sandpaper came out of the crankcase, did it? Probably not. Made in USA oil filter wrench. Yeah, it'd be a little crazy if a piece of sandpaper came out somehow, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be really cool. Well, can we both fit under here at the same time? Yeah, it looks like a early 1990s Fram oil filter, does it not? Could be from the late 80s, but that means they went a long time without changing their oil. Okay, At least since 1992, at least 34 years, this oil filter has been on this Ford big block. We failed to get it off by hand, and now let's use a filter wrench. Okay, we're gonna wanna go a little bit higher up on it so that we don't break anything. There we go. Okay, and I'm pulling. Ah! And we tried to do that by hand. Come on, Stan. Never had a chance. Not even Lou Ferrigno could do that. Okay, let's get this pan under here. Even though I'm not sure if we're gonna have much coming out here or not. Okay, get rid of that. Can't wait to take a look at this oil filter with all the gunk wiped off of it. Oh, there's some water in it. I don't think water touched the bearings though, so I mean, we'll hope not. More water coming out. Water in our oil filter. That's pretty clean up there. I don't even think we're gonna wipe that off. We don't even have any rags anyways. It's Great Depression style wrenching here right now. Times are tough. Times are tough. Okay, that's gonna take a long time, so let's just get this stuff out of our way. And maybe later in the video we'll wipe this off and try to find a year, see exactly which. Well, I guess the kids these days would say the 1990s is vintage. I don't know. All right, we're getting close. Getting close. Finish this oil change, and then we gotta. Well, I guess we still are unsure if this is even gonna work, right? Because we're kind of putting the cart before the horse. So we are using a Wix filter for a Ford big block, and I was trying to find the largest oil filter I could for this Ford big block, and this is the largest I could find. It's not nearly as large as this one. Oh, actually, well, let's see here. Oh, this one's a little bit bigger. Maybe a ½ an inch taller. Let's put that back down there in case we spill it. We don't want to spill it on nature. I like to make sure brand new filters don't have any rust, all that kind of stuff. Blow the cardboard dust off. I'll put all the information for this filter in the video description for you. Probably don't care, but the oil we are using for this application here is some heavy-duty diesel oil. This is a high-quality heavy-duty diesel oil, and it's 15W40. You'll dab a clean oil, or right there on the seal. That way maybe it's a little easier to take off next time. All right. Okay. And thankfully, it fits on here. Okay, huge debate time. How tight do you put your oil filter on? Do you put it on with a wrench? Do you put it on by hand? People bicker and fight about this like you wouldn't believe. And what I'm doing is I screwed it on until it was snug by hand, and then now by hand, I'm going to get it about a half a turn or so more, or half a turn to a full turn. As tight as I can go with one hand. And that is how we do it. We got our late 80s, early 1990s oil filter right there. We got our brand new one right here. I would love to keep using that one, but you know, sometimes we gotta freshen stuff up so we can operate properly without destroying everything. You know, this one had water in it. Not a good idea. Should probably discard this one, or we'll clean it up. It'll go on the collectible shelf. So how are we going to know how much oil we put in this engine if we're pouring out of a 2-gallon jug? Well, we're not. Well, you know, I mean, we have feel, right? That's always good. Not entirely accurate, you say? Okay. Oh, great. The only thing I have to wipe this funnel out with is now on the ground. It's a 2-gallon jug. It's 4 quarts to a gallon. So we'll pour half the jug in, which will be 4 quarts. And then we'll do a little bit, check it, little bit, check it, until we're at an appropriate spot on the dipstick. We're shooting for 5 quarts for a 390 big block. It's serious, but not serious. This thing's not leaving the ground. But at the same time, we don't want to destroy the engine. Actually, it might leave the ground. I know where a really steep set of train tracks are. Now, pouring from a 2-gallon jug really should be reserved for the pros. For the pros and the renegades, the professional mechanics and the renegade mechanics. I like to do this. Get the last little bit of old oil off the dipstick. So there's 3 dots on here. There's a dot on add, a dot on full, and a dot in the middle. So we'll shoot for the middle. Should be about 5 quarts. Sits pretty nice on that hood spring. Just want to make sure it doesn't back up out of the hole. Ah! It's wasting money. This funnel's got a little hole on top. You can zip tie it to this hood spring. We'll let that trickle down into the crankcase. I'm sure it's not even showing up on the dipstick yet. Dipstick's probably dry. Nothing on there yet. Now we did put a couple quarts in. We do need to put quite a bit more in, but just want to make sure we don't overfill it. If we overfill it, we're gonna drain some of it, and that eats up our time that we don't have a lot of. So after a couple minutes here, our oil drained down in the bottom of the crankcase, and we are just at the add mark. So we'll add a little bit more oil and a little extra for the filter, because I am off my game. Took off for North Dakota kind of out of the blue and unprepared, just how it worked out. Yeah, off the game a little bit. I'm a stickler about pre-filling oil filters. Didn't even think about it. So add a little extra for that. And speaking of being off my game a little bit, that family affair that I bolted for, why didn't I stop and try to find a new solenoid at the auto parts store? Why didn't I do that? I forgot all about it. Well, in a second here, when we have officially finished this oil change, we'll go get a solenoid, and kind of thinking that our issue is not the solenoid or a solenoid. I'm thinking more along the lines of something shorting out somewhere in the car. Maybe neutral safety switch. This car should have one on the column underneath the dashboard. Possibly probably not. I'm doubting it's the ignition switch or the lock tumbler, but we're gonna go buy a solenoid anyways, because you never know. Okay, we'll put just a tad more in here, and then after the engine runs for a minute and circulates oil, we'll shut it off and let it all drain back down to the bottom of the crankcase, and then we'll top it off from there. So kind of what I'm saying is, we'll buy the solenoid just because maybe, and we want a proper looking and proper, you know, situation here, because I have a feeling this is going to be a really good car. So we would be buying that anyways, but we don't want to take the way out of the new generation and just throw parts at it like crazy. I would rather work out the situation and use the parts we have that probably don't need to be replaced. And if you just replace everything with stuff that you find out you didn't even need to buy, you're throwing money away. The parts that you're getting probably are inferior to the older parts. I want to use the brain and solve the puzzle and be one with the machine. Oh yeah. Oil change. Done. Let's go get the solenoid, if we can find one. All right, we got an aftermarket solenoid from a local parts store. We'll swap this solenoid over. I did have my wires crossed, literally and figuratively. We were just trying everything here, just because it was a mystery solenoid. So this one here, we will install this correctly right off the bat here. I want to wipe off this area here to give us the best ground we can get. Oh! Dropped a little tiny nut, found it though. So I'm pretty sure we don't need to be switching the solenoid, but we already talked about that. Can't wait to find out what this car's actual issue is here. So this post here with an S, okay, that's gonna go there. It's our reddish pinkish wire with the stripe. Our brownish blackish wire is going to go right there. Now, just a little bit of a warning here. When this solenoid, this brand new solenoid, changes nothing for us, be prepared for possible hours and hours of fiddle farting around with wires, with our head stuck up under the dashboard. Oh, maybe there's a broken wire here, maybe there's a short here, maybe there's this, maybe there's that, and finding absolutely nothing and then getting really upset about it. Don't worry though, I don't get rowdy during business hours. Hook up the battery and we'll see what happens. Well, I just turned the key to the on position, nothing. Start, nothing. Okay, let the spring come back to the on position, nothing. Accessory, nothing. Well, it's always very possible these days we have a bad solenoid out of the box. I mean, I doubt it though. I highly doubt it. Nothing. Nothing. I told you a new solenoid would not solve our problems. Although now we have, well, it's not doing anything, right? Well, let's check something here. We still got juice to the headlights. So that's a good thing. We do not want to lose power to the headlights. Oh, wait a second. Is it fixed? On. No cranks. Start position crank. We might be good to fire this engine up now. Although, I don't necessarily enjoy this because there's no way that that solenoid is what made it seem to work. Although we don't know if we have spark. We don't know if we have that part of it. We need to do some testing because I want this done. I want this to be semi-proper. I would not buy that solenoid made that difference. I don't think the headlight switch has anything to do with it, but we need to get underneath this dashboard. This is for poop protection. Hantavirus. All right, I'm going in. Wait, hold on. I don't want to get all the way under there and not have a flashlight. All right, well, should move this brake drum out of the way. Now we'll just leave the brake drum here, and we'll lay on top of the brake drum for a protective layer. Gotta love it. I actually enjoy the smell. Reminds me of home. Okay. That's right. Okay. So my bum is on the brake drum, and my back of my head is on the transmission pedal. Okay. I'm gonna dig around in here for a little bit and try to find something. Find out there's a short or something. Well, hold on. Before I start yanking on wires, let's reach up here and turn the key. Okay, that's the on position. Okay, I'm turning it all the way now. It's not doing anything anymore. There, they're fun. Headlight switch. Okay, turn key. Okay, oh yeah, why would that do anything? Let's see here. That's the back side of the cigarette lighter. Just for reference, that's the back side of the ignition switch. So I'll stick my hand through the hole where the radio used to be. Wiggle and jiggle. Take my hand out. Turn the key. Nothing. Wiggle and jiggle without breaking anything. Okay, nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay. It appears to be wired up how we would like it to be. Oh, wind about slammed the door on me. Let's turn the key on. Wiggle and jiggle some wires. Feel around for anything that's just not connected. Oh, that's not connected all the way. I don't think that would have anything to do with this, but we'll push it on all the way. Okay. Nope. It's not rocket science, but it still could be a mystery. Here's the neutral safety switch right here. And there are some contacts on the back side that can get gummed up. Here, I'll show you something. And it looks like it's probably fine though. So here's the shifter. It's in park. See, we can move it through the gears. If we go down here, see, that's park there. That's all the way down to 1. If you bring it down to here, you should be able to move this with your finger. Can't fit it in there. There we go. You know, I'm thinking that probably got nothing to do with it. It could, you know, it happens. You know, we could play around with that a little bit more before we would get to the point of taking it off. You know, we can turn the key in all positions here. You know, we could also see if the reverse lights come on in a position other than park. Park, reverse, neutral drive, 2, 1 on there. For example, if down here in 1, in low gear, if the reverse lights are on, we know that something is not in the right position. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. Could you imagine if the car started right now and took off? I'm not, yeah. I think this is a waste of time under here. Is the column loose? Broken piece of the steering wheel just came off. Okay, this is interesting. I just scraped a layer of mouse poo off with my forehead, didn't I? Maybe there's something loose in here. Well, do we still have headlights? Okay, well, we did have the amps light and the oil light on the dashboard, not anymore. I think we just messed everything up. We don't have headlights now. It would be our outer ones that would be on. Can we jump the solenoid with the screwdriver? Because if we can't, well, we don't have power to the headlights. Which essentially in this case means we have power to nothing. Confirm that by trying to jump the starter solenoid. Does nothing. Okay, well, I'm gonna root around under the dashboard because I think we moved something. We jiggled something. There's gotta be something loose underneath there. So I'll see in probably a couple of hours. The wind just blew something out from inside this car and it went right into my mouth. You know it was mouse nest. There's no denying that. Check in with you in a bit. Why don't you go down to the local watering hole and see you in a bit. I just spent a hefty amount of time going over every wire up underneath that dashboard and under the hood. Didn't find anything that looked out of place, broken, missing, which, you know, doesn't always mean anything. But a visual inspection, you know, it's usually a place to start with stuff like this. Now, I've got one more thing to try. If it doesn't work, then we start going down the road of possible electrical nightmare. And I just noticed that the rearview mirror is lying on top of the dashboard. I didn't notice it earlier. But before we do that one thing, I want to show you something in the glove box real quick. It's pretty neat. Just beyond this spider web, this is where the fuse panel is. And this car has fusible links instead of fuses for everything, so there's not a lot of fuses here. Oh, which way? Well, which way do you want to go around the web? I'm not going to force you. Just a neat little fuse panel in the top of the glove box. There's only 4 fuses in here, and that's all we need. These fuses here have nothing to do with us not getting any power to the car at all. We still have no electrical power. All right, let's close this because it's just whipping mouse nest out. I'm gonna get this thing off. It's a little warm. And I'm not going back underneath that dashboard today anyways, because I know there would be no reason to. This ain't my first rodeo. The last thing before electrical nightmare sets in is any of our connections loose? Did we not tighten them down enough? Or did something wiggle loose while we were wiggling other things? Tools such as a multimeter, etc., would speed some of this up, but we're here unprepared. We're doing it how you could do it before a multimeter existed. Can any of this tighten up anymore? Any of our wires here? Well, that's pretty tight. Check everything. Even if it looks and feels tight, let's tighten it up a little bit more. Well, that tightened up a little bit. I don't want to use any $9 college words, but I think we need to snug this stuff down more, because there's nothing else without tearing it all apart. So nothing, huh? There we go. We need to tighten this down even more. Holy Jim Neighbors Christmas album. They're on. All right, we don't need the headlights on. I'm gonna check the taillights actually for fun. Taillights are on. You know what? We could actually check the reverse lights. The reverse lights just might, not work anyways, right? Yeah, we're not gonna do that. I don't think neutral safety switch has anything to do with anything. I'll just put that back in park. Okay, I'm gonna turn the key to the on position. Hopefully the starter doesn't start starting. Nothing. And we got idiot lights. The key is in the on position. Got our idiot lights. We don't need that on. There you go. Let's see if we have spark. I wish I wouldn't have put the gas can away. It's a little heavy. A little heavy for the girly man. So whatever gas we poured in here, I'm sure is probably not there anymore. Yep, just spill it. Just spill it all over the place. Everywhere you can. Just get rid of it. Just burn the whole thing down. So all of our wiring should be good. We fixed some stuff. We know how we did it. Some stuff I think we fixed on accident. Because things are cranking properly, we probably have spark now. If that's the case, then for the first time in 3 years, well, the car sat for at least 34 years, we got it running, just ran for 2 seconds, and that was 3 years ago in the snow. And here we are, see if it will run for a little bit longer. And if it does, we see if it'll drink off of its own gas tank, or if the gas tank's full of rust and crud and varnish. Either way, let's try it right now. If we're gonna put this car on the road in this video, we need to get this to work. Here we go. That didn't sound like it even tried. Well, that's not cool. The key's working right. I don't know if we even have a test light. We're such losers. But we have a cool car. Let's try something. Let's see if it'll crank in reverse. It won't crank in reverse. Let's see if we have spark in neutral. Okay, so I'm very glad that we did not rip the neutral safety switch out. So I'm gonna say everything from here back, we're good. Let's forget about it. That's all good. Now we need to go to our basic standard diagnosing why we don't have spark. Where are we getting power to? Where is it not getting to? This engine was not even trying to start. Now it's been 3 years. Oh, come on. Let's see what's actually underneath this distributor cap. Maybe we left the rotor off or something, or maybe we borrowed the rotor for something. I don't know. Oh, the cap just kind of fell off. Oh, look at that. It's corroded from sitting. Oh, that's good news. This is fantastic news. Let's disconnect the battery before we start, you know, doing stuff like that. This is great news. Where's that sandpaper? There it is. You can tell I was starting to get a little bummed out because I closed the driver's door. Okay, we'll see if that's good enough to do it or not. Well, I think the clip on the back side of the distributor cap was not latched either this whole time. I'm not saying that was an issue, but I bet you that's because last time we were under the hood of this car, it was 20 below zero in a blizzard. Okay, if this doesn't work, we'll pop the cap back off and we'll run some sandpaper on the ignition points. Our gasoline that we poured in there should still be good. Okay, keys are now in position. Let's see if we have a internal combustion engine that's going to run. We'll see. I got scared for a second. Why didn't you say anything? I turned the key, I'm in the on position, and then I turn it to the spring-loaded position and nothing happens. And I immediately remembered, battery, you're supposed to be on top of those things. Let's see if it makes an attempt. Didn't sound like it made an attempt at all to do anything. You know, at least pop and smoke and bang and clang for a millisecond, right? Or sound like it's trying to do something. And I don't want to keep cranking and cranking and cranking on the starter because I don't want anything to happen with that. It doesn't have to run great. It just has to run right now. I mean, we want it to run great. So make sure your battery's disconnected, right, before you start doing stuff like this. So we just hit the ignition points with some sandpaper. Not the coil wire, is it? Oh, we should probably get this box out of the belt. Okay, come on. Try to ignite this air fuel mixture. All right, you know what? I really got a problem with you now, bucko. You seriously let me do that? All right. Now it's starting to get windy. Starting to get windy. All right, here we go. Fire in the hole. Let's make sure our battery's disconnected. And let's pull this coil off of here because I have a sneaky suspicion. Well, first let's pull this. Oh, there's some crud. Some corrosion in there too. Let's pull that off. I want to look at it. You know, I'd say this almost could be a culprit too. It's black wire, but that's exactly how it was when we had it running in the winter. You never know, this coil could be bad. You know, it sits and freezes winter after winter. I want to see if I can just pull this thing out. We might have to go buy a test light. Last thing I want to do is spend $80 on ignition stuff for nothing. Where's our light? So we definitely have the wires on the correct side of the coil. Oh, that's disgusting. How is it even working? Gotta clean that out. That's bad. I guess that's better. And we're not gonna jam it into there right now. We're just gonna set it right on top. Got that Bon Jovi song playing in my head right now. Have a nice day. It's not trying. I think we need to go to town and get a test light. This might be a long shot, but let's try this other coil wire that gives us the straight on shot here. Instead of that, we use this. See what happens in real time here. Okay, I know that that's really deep down in that coil now. And in case there's any corrosion sitting in the cap here. Okay, and then just double check again that no wires are broken or anything. Slide this boot back, just like we did on the other end that we snapped onto our coil. I just want to verify that we really get that in there. Okay, that's bottomed out. Would you quit doing that? No, I'm just kidding. I remembered that time. Just joshing ya. I'm just not gonna say anything this time. All right, going down, test light. Probably buying points, condenser, coil, cap, the whole shebang. Yeah, let's take the time and spend the money to go to town to spend money to get something that after we use it out here is going to send us back to town to spend more money. Why? Why does my life have to be so spontaneous? I need a service body. I need a truck with a service body. Service bodies are trendy right now. People have service bodies and nothing to service. Giving these points a little bit better of a scuffing. And it is sitting up on a lobe and we have a perfect points gap. All right, you wild and crazy kids. Oh. Okay. There it is. It tried. Let's put some more gas in it. I was gonna say, do we have to go to town to spend money and time getting a tool that we should already have so that we can come back out here, spend more time, and then go back and spend more time and money? I don't know. All I know is they have service bodies and they don't service anything, okay? That's all I know. Come on. Woo! Yeah! 390 cubic inch big block in our 1967 Mercury Monterey. Swanky big block mom car. I knew it. I knew it. You know, it is It's still kind of fuzzy and rusty under there. Kind of thinking maybe maybe we should just replace some of these ignition parts, but I don't know. Let's come on. Let's get it going a little bit more here. It's been sitting for years. It needs to warm up a little bit. Okay. Okay. That's way too much. That's probably going to start a fire. All right. Let's get this thing sounding like it really wants to go. Okay, and then we'll try to run off the tank and we'll put coolant in it. It is running after we let go of the key, correct? Because if it's not, we got a little something going on. Your cables are not too hot. Well, let's get some more gas in here. Oh, by the way it sounds, I bet you anything, if there's a muffler under there, it's completely rotted out. You know what I wonder? I wonder if the exhaust is plugged. We should probably look at that. These doors open and close really nice. Oh. Come take a look at the exhaust. There's the rotted out muffler, as promised. Now let's follow the exhaust towards the front of the car. you know the very we're probably not going to get out of this yard without that thing snagging and ripping off completely out from underneath the car. I love it. I didn't see or smell any smoke. Did you? See if we can get this thing to run a little more. Fire in the hole! You know what? I think I'm done walking around this. I think what we should do right now is, oh hold on, was this spark plug wire not? No, I think it was on. I think what we should do right now is pull spark plug without a bunch of mouse poo and stuff falling in the hole. So we'll pick the spark plug with the least amount of junk around it. We're gonna take this spark plug out. Ooh, it's a champion. And we're gonna look at it. And we're gonna see what kind of condition it's in. Because it sounds to me as if it wants to have a little bit more roar, right? A little bit more, wants to purr a little bit more. It wants to run a little bit better, but it can't. And it's very possible that the plugs are just toast. So that could be all it is. So we're gonna take a look here. Piece of mouse nest got caught on my nose, and then I was itching it and almost dumped these sockets on the ground. I've seen worse. Might have been running a little bit rich. Let's pull another one. There, you know, we got 2 of them out. This one looks the same. Well, we just wire brush them real quick. Cleaned up okay. Put it right back in the same hole here. These 3 are done. This one in the back is a little bit of a pain, a wobble, and a longer extension would help. But we don't have that, so 1 click at a time. It took a couple minutes to get out. Looks like maybe it was running a little lean. Not quite burning all that gas that we put in there. That's what it looks like. So maybe these plugs will burn now. If not, I think we'll just replace them because it really does look as if they just were not burning the gas we were putting in. I mean, they're not oily, so that's good. We probably have good piston rings. We'll see what happens when we get to the other side of our engine here. Man, I'm just not able to get this tight. I gotta go look in the barn for a wobble or something. Couldn't find anything. But I found a better position. Okay. Now this side. And it looks like these ones are gonna go a lot faster, which is good. We got a lot of junk. We gotta scrape out of here. Suppose I could use the little jump pack air compressor to blow some air on these. But that would just make too much sense. It'd be too smart. Alright, what is this plug gonna look like? What does the number 5 cylinder plug look like? Looks like the other ones. A little bit of mouse nest. I wanted to fall down into the cylinder there. Into the number 5 cylinder. So we got cylinders 6, 7, and 8 to go. I wonder what they're gonna look like. Hopefully they're all the same. That would be the best. Woo! Got a lot of extra mouse nest and cobwebs on this one. The rest of them look better though, as far as the cobwebs and stuff go. Okay, so as long as we don't discover strip threads or anything like that, we're gonna be good. Earlier we were racing the rain and now we're racing the sun. Well, this plug is all rusty on the outside. Oh, this one's an AC Delco R8 Ford TS. Plug looks a lot better. I love the look of these spark plugs. The green, just love that. Takes me back to another time. Now these threads feel a little bit crusty. Let's just hope there's no issue here. Kind of scared to turn this one. Oh, thank goodness. I actually got a little bit nervous there. I mean, I think everything's okay. Felt like that one was getting a little cattywampus though, but I don't think it really did. All right, number 7. Well, now we're back to a champion, and it looks the same as all the other champions. Okay, number 8. Let this one not look like it was on the Titanic, please. The 1 AC spark plug, it's in a little bit different condition, slightly concerning. but I don't know why this car was parked. Couldn't tell you. Okay, just like the others. Good. Just because we hit these with the wire brush doesn't mean that they are now not worn out, burnt up. But I want to see what happens. Okay, officially just put my hand right through the shards of ow! Windshield washer fluid reservoir. Okay, let's try it again. There you go. Make sure it gets down there. That's better. It's still running. Oh, I was gonna bring you over because you're this weird floating virtual head thing that can't just move on your own two pins. Renegade. Smart, genius. Not really. This is a Mercury, it's a Ford product. Our fuel pump is on the driver's side. Should we look at our fuel line, see if it even exists from the tank coming up to the engine, or should we just put gas in the gas tank? I think we'll take a look here along the frame rail. Oh, okay. Fuel pump is right here. You can see we have this hard line that goes from the fuel pump through this filter into the carburetor. But before it gets there, it's got to come from the tank. And there's a rubber hose down there, a rubber fuel line. Never mind this. This is, excuse my housekeeping, we'll get that out of here. Here's the fuel line right here. So tank, frame rail, inner fender well, fuel pump, carburetor. Does look like it's intact, doesn't it? Yeah, I can see it. Well, it's down there anyways. Oh, now let's look under the car. I'm really hoping you're sticking with me here, because if this doesn't pay off, this has been some money and some time here. Now, even if it didn't work out here in this video, the car would not become abandoned. You know, we would carry on my wayward son. Ground's a little wet. Pull our oil pan and filter out. Probably put the filter here. Hopefully it doesn't tip over. Tuck the wet oil spot in. All right. Oh, rust. That's nice. Well, I can't really see anything because the tires are flat. I could maybe feel something. Why don't I feel fuel line under here, my friend? Why is that? It must be tucked way up in here. I would never do this in Oklahoma without a glove. Something would bite me. Well, let's go to the back of the car. I'm not finding anything. So I laid in mouse poop, but I won't lay in mud, clean mud. Oh, there's a gas cap. We'll get that together in a second. Just wanted to see if there was anything there or not. Oh, we have a gas tank. That's a plus. Well, I'm not seeing a fuel line back here. It's gotta be back here somewhere. Okay, there it is. Boy, that muffler's right on the ground. Here's the filler neck, which is where our gas cap is on. And I want to see the front of the tank. I just want to verify we actually have a hose going to the tank. Oh, wow. That goes right into the trunk. I can't see if there's anything in there or not, but there was. Maybe it fell out by now. Well, I really can't see on this side anyways. Yeah, I can't see anything with this car sitting on the ground like that. Vented cap. It's a nice rubber seal too. Get a light and see if we can see inside the tank, get some kind of an idea of what it looks like in here. Oh, can't see the bottom of the tank, but the filler neck looks real good. I say let's just put gas in the thing. I mean, what are we gonna do? Well, I mean, there are things we could do, but let's just put gas in the tank, and if the filter at the carburetor clogs, we either have or can get another one. That's not a rare hurt. We're putting gasoline inside the tank. Probably the first time anybody's ever put gas in this gas tank since at least 1992. We're not sure what the actual condition of the gas tank is on the inside, if it's just gonna clog everything with rust chunks, or if there's even a sending unit on the tank keeping this gas from pouring out. We know there's line at least maybe halfway, but what would you do in, well, 1967, this car wouldn't have been in this condition. Basically, this is just a gamble of 5 gallons of gas, because if it's real bad in there and we end up just taking the tank out of the car and cleaning the tank out, we're gonna lose this gas. The only thing that would make this car neater would be if your filler neck was behind the license plate. And this isn't quite 5 gallons. Well, you know what would make this car neater would be tires that hold air. Yeah, we don't want to put all of it in here. We need a little bit to put in the carburetor. And you know what? We'll just leave the cap off. Give it more flowage. Probably not going to do anything, but you know. Oh, there's cotton seeds. Cotton seeds getting in the carburetor. Now let's see what happens. No. Did we have the key on that whole time? Oh no! What if we burnt the points up? Sounds good. All right. Oh, I can smell the exhaust now. Let's see if we can get the fuel pump pumping and pumping from the tank. I'm excited. I think we put too much gasoline in the tank. Oh, maybe we didn't put, what I mean is there's not much left in the gas can to put in the carburetor. Hopefully we don't run out before we get this pumping. Ooh. Found another can out here with just a splash in it. I think we're gonna run out here. Okay, that was a good dollop. Okay, we're almost out of gas, so hopefully this, what are the odds? Running longer. Are we pumping fuel out of the tank? We're idling. We're pumping fuel from the factory tank. Oh, we're leaking right here. So we essentially did it in our 67 Mercury Monterey runs, but we have some issues that'll catch us on fire real good if we hit the road. All right, let's do this. Let's grab our last bit of gas here. Now, me and my daughter, we drove about 1,000 miles to get up here to the Canadian border to see family, and she was out here just a little bit ago working on her Jeep J truck, her 78, and now, well, it's 1/2 Freckle. I'm late to meet the family to eat, so let's put the transmission in gear and see what happens. Okay, I thought maybe the filter was clogged. Oh, actually the brake pedal goes all the way to the floor. Well, is there anything that we could use to stop us? Let's put it in reverse. Oh! Okay, we're on flat. Okay. So, all right, let's check one more thing here. It went into reverse. And then when I put it back in neutral, it died. I bet you that filter's clogged. But the transmission did something, and I'm glad we didn't go forward, or we would have crushed that fuel filter wrench. Okay, so we got some more issues to take care of before we get on the road. Hey, the transmission fluid, it smells good and it's clear. Looks like it might be a little low, but hey, okay. So next time with our 67 Mercury Monterey, we'll fix the fuel leaks, fuel filter situation, get rid of the crud. We'll put brand new tires on it, top off the transmission fluid, oh, and coolant. And then we yard test, and if that goes good, we'll go hit the road and let the exhaust rip off and crumple underneath the car. That'll be funny. All right, I'll see you then. Right now, I'll send you to watch the snow videos with this Mercury. You could watch that right now. That's a good choice. Get some popcorn and check that out. It pumped, sucked right from the factory tank. Woo! I love this car.